Hello, my name is Aidan Brady. I'm a Cavan beekeeper. I am going to do a talk on the science of honeybees for 2022 Science Week. Honeybees are very important. A third of the food produced in the world depends on pollination, and 2/3 of that pollination is done by honeybees. Honeybees gather a number of crops. Nectar is one of them, they bring in a crop or a stomach. Pollen, they carry it on their legs. It feeds the young. Propolis is used for sterilization of the cells, and it's taken the buds of trees. And water is used as a cooling element and also to soften up ivy honey and crystallized honey. The greatest gift bees give to man is pollination. The products of a hive. Honey is the main one why we are beekeepers in the first place. Pollen, it can be harvested off a hive as well and is used for food. Propolis, it's good and it has a lot of medical powers, cures mouth ulcers. Wax for our candles, polish and facial creams. Venom is being harvested off bees and used in treatment for certain diseases. And of course, royal jelly, a very lucrative food for feeding the queens, is highly sought after for helping build up people after operations. Hives and history, they go back, they're documented on the walls of the pyramids. It goes back even in the Bible, in the Old Testament, hives and honey is mentioned over 60 times. So man and honeybees are interrelated and have evolved together over thousands of years. The honeybee in this neck of the woods is a northern European bee, Apis mellifera mellifera. It's a social insect. It only survives as a colony, and the colony normally consists of a queen, adult bees which are workers, and drones which are male, workers are female, and broods made up of eggs, larvae and seal brood. Us as humans think we are complicated and complex, but to me a honeybee is more technical and more elite. That's just a sample there of all the equipment they have. This gives you a scale of the 3 castes of bee in the hive. On the left we have the female worker. In the middle we have the drone who's male, and the queen is on the right, the mother of everybody in that hive. The worker is an infertile female. In the summer there's between 50 and 60,000, and in winter the colony needs a minimum of 10,000 to sustain heat. And the life expectancy of a worker in the summer is about 6 to 7 weeks, 38 to 42 days in the summer, and 6 months in the winter. They're mileage based. They have house duties and foraging duties. The drone is a male bee. There's between 200 and 300 to 1,000 and 1,500 per hive. It is a square abdomen. Its eyes meet across the top. It has a life expectancy of up to 60 days approximately, and its sole purpose is to mate with a queen. The queen, she's a fertile female. In normal circumstances there's only one per hive. She has longer legs, a longer abdomen than the other bees, a third longer. Life expectancy is between 2 and 4 years. And she can lay up to 2,000 eggs at the peak time, May. She produces pheromones which helps control the hive. A pheromone is a scent passed from one species to the same species. Stages in a life cycle. The egg, a fertilized egg is laid in a worker cell or queen cells. An unfertilized egg is laid in a drone cell. The larva. 3 days after the egg is laid, it hatches into a larva. For the first few days, all larvae are fed on royal jelly. After the 4th and 5th day, only larvae in the queen cells are fed on royal jelly. That's a picture of the eggs at the bottom of the cells, and when we zoom in a wee bit, you'll see the C-shaped larva also in the middle of the frame. Worker cells. Cells are hexagonal shaped, they're made out of wax and are horizontal on the comb, and they can also be used to store nectar and pollen. An egg is laid by a queen, it hatches after 3 days. The larva is fed royal jelly for 2 to 3 days, and then after a mixture of pollen and nectar. The cell is capped after 10 days and the worker emerges after 21 days. This is a good sample of a picture of seal brood. The role of the worker. The role depends on age. Approximately up to 6 days, cell and hive cleaning, feeding more mature larvae with pollen and nectar. From day 4 to day 12, the worker bee learns to feed larvae. It learns to feed the older larvae first, and as it develops its hypophageal gland to make brood food, it specializes on feeding the younger larvae. Between day 6 and day 18, the worker develops wax glands, 4 pair on its underbelly. It learns to build comb and make wax. Between day 8 and 18, it learns to store pollen and nectar, takes it off the foraging bees as they bring it in, and they pack it in the cells. A worker develops the sting gland on day 18. It then become a guard bee and can hang around the door or the entrances of the hives to protect it against enemies. On day 20 to 21, a worker bee is fully qualified. It can leave the hive and go on orientation flights to align the hive with the sun and know where the crop is, and go out and bring in the crop and do a wagtail dance or round dance to tell the bees where the crop is. Wax is secreted from glands on the worker bee. There are 8 such glands, 4 pair on the bee's abdomen. It's secreted as scales, is worked with the legs and its mandibles, and as the worker matures and starts on daily flights and foraging, these glands shut down. Wax production. The temperature in a hive has to be between 33 and 36 degrees Celsius. It's used to build honeycomb cells for raising brood and storing honey, and it's estimated that it takes 8 to 10 pounds of honey to produce a pound of wax, or the same as 6 times around the world to produce a pound. Drone cells are hexagonal shape, they're horizontal on the comb, they're domed, the capping is domed. The egg, an unfertilized egg, is laid by the queen. It hatches after 3 days. The larva is fed royal jelly for 2 to 3 days, and thereafter fed a mixture of pollen and nectar. The cell is capped after 11 days, and a drone male bee emerges after 24 days. The cells are bigger than worker cells, and the queen measures them. The drone is a male bee. It will mate with a newly emerged queen. The drone has congregation areas, and it dies after mating, and drones are ejected from the colony in autumn, and they have no sting. This is a sample of drone brood. The role of the queen: she's a fertile female. She lays eggs, between 1,500 and 2,000 eggs per day at the peak time, which is April-May. She decides the sex of the bee by laying fertile or unfertile eggs. She measures the size of the cell before she lays with her front legs. She produces pheromones, maintains the colony's stability. The scent is passed from the queen to the attendant workers and passed on to other workers. She's fed and groomed by her attendants. She has a sting but only uses it for other queens. Pollen and nectar all-stars. We put ivy as number one. It saves, it's the goalie. Ivy comes in September, and depending on temperature it can still produce a nectar in December. It packs the hives with honey over the winter, and there's a lot of curing properties in ivy. Number two would be hazel. It comes in February and it's the first pollen. Number three is a small plant but a very important one, the dandelion. From March on till May, different species of dandelion both produce pollen and nectar. Number four, willow. There's 27 species of willow in Ireland, and from February on to June they produce pollen. The blackthorn, who's a first cousin of the plum, comes out in May. It produces a lot of pollen. Number six at centre half back would be the whitethorn, who is a cousin of the apple, and they produce both nectar and pollen. The sycamore tree produces a lot of nectar. In midfield, 8 and 9, the two biggest producers in the British Isles are clover and blackberry. The lime tree, we will leave it at right half forward. A large mature lime tree is equal to an acre of clover. I just put at centre half forward all the summer flowers, the meadow flowers. Left half forward all the fruit bushes, strawberries, blackcurrants, gooseberries. Now the tail end of the year, August, heather is the big one at full forward, flanked by fuchsia and rose bay willow herb known as fireweed, which grows in forest trees that have been cut out. That is all the main producers of pollen and nectar in County Cavan.